Hey everybody, how you doing? It's producer director Wes Wyatt, and I have got something that I'm very proud to talk to you about today, and that is an announcement from your awesome host Randy Chaffee about something that's going on with his brand new book. And there's lots of something's going on, but before we worry about that or just kind of start talking about that, I want to make sure that you guys know that. Today, Randy is actually in a convention. And so what we need to do is just know that some people are going to walk by, say hi. They're going to probably give him some bro hugs and all sorts of different stuff. So if you see a little bit different Randy today that you normally don't see, just know he's out there doing what he does, which is being the hybrid road warrior. So until we get with Randy, let's go ahead and do what we do. We'll see you in just a couple minutes. Look at that.
Well, I better fix my game or I'm going to lose his hosting duties, man. That was amazing.
Well, I don't know about that. I just realized something, and the reason why you hired me, Randy, and that is when you're trying to figure out where everything is on the screen, you can't look directly at the camera. So there's going to be a little bit of looking to the side, and I'm usually behind the scenes doing this. How you doing, my friend?
Okay. I'm doing great, man. I'm like you said, I'm in Dayton, Ohio, downtown at the convention center at the construction roll forming show with our good friends, the folks from Shield Wall Media, and started about about 2 hours in, and man, there's a lot of traffic and some good vibes, and it's a good show so far.
Well, I'm so glad that you were able to pop on with us because you and I normally rack and stack and have plenty of people in the queue, but for whatever reasons, I know the reason, and it's in the middle of the screen right now. Asphalt Mike Brothers. You've been just a little busy, so.
I have been, and we do need to do that. And the good news is off air, we will determine the schedule again because I've got a lot of people that want to come on. We just got to get that scheduled again, and I'm a little more comfortable when we got a few in the queue. I get a little nervous when there's like one left and you're going, hey, who do we have coming? I go, I've been kind of selling my book and forgot. Sorry.
Hey, speaking of your book, I hear that there's some really, really awesome news about it. Why don't you tell me about it?
There is. It's really exciting. As you know, I've been working on this for a couple of years, and I was just excited to actually see it in print, actually to hold it in my hands. We were doing some marketing things and trying to push the book. And I think is key is that if you have a good product, which I believe it is, I wrote it right, but I believe it's a good product. But if you put the proper marketing behind it, you can accomplish what you want. And so I was at a National Frame Builders Association board meeting last week, and in my book team, Rich, he sends me a text, says, "Hey, guess who has a bestseller?" I don't know, Tom Clancy, Stephen King, I don't know who. And I kind of felt where he was coming from. I mean, why would he send that, right? And he says, "It's you, you big dummy." And I said, "No kidding, that's amazing." And I thought, he goes, "Guess how many categories on Amazon?" I said, "I don't know, one or two. That'd be really cool." He says 10. He sent me 1, 2, 3. And and he says, so it's exciting. About a week ago, I hit #1 in a lot of the business sales categories on Amazon. So that's exciting. More than I hoped for. You always hope for that, right? You hope for an NBA championship, but you don't know if you ever get it, right? I'm excited. I'm proud of it, and it's 2+ years of a lot of writing and rewriting and changing. And so thanks for asking. No, I mean it's been fun. It's been a fun. It's been fun up to, but it's been fun really promoting it this week. And matter of fact, I'm standing here at the Shield Wall Media booth right now recording this, and we're going to do a couple of show specials, if you will, on the book and sign some books here at the show. I signed a few already, so that's a new experience for me, which is fun. So it's been a good time, man.
Well, and just so everybody knows, you can obviously go to, and I say obviously, I guess it's not obviously, but you can go to Amazon and purchase Asphalt and Algorithms. But if you really want to kick it up a notch, if you go to the QR code that is on the screen, that will actually take you to I Buy from Randy and Source
Right.
One. And what that will
Right.
do is if you go to the top, there is an Asphalt and Algorithms link. And if you click on that, you'll be able to get an autographed copy from Randy that you can buy directly. So make sure that you
Exactly.
guys take advantage of that because not only is it a great book, but I think it's one that you're going to like having because Randy is the real deal.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And the funny thing is, yeah, if you go to my website, you can get it for the same price as Amazon plus the same shipping. But I also sign it for you, which means that instead of 16.99 and shipping, it'll be worth zero. But still, I mean, there is that. But
Well,
yeah, it's
have
but
him
but
use it.
absolutely, they use it for paperweights or something. I don't know.
No. I can tell everybody that it's something that when you get a signed copy, and this is obviously a first edition because it's brand new. There's going to be a lot of incarnations of changes and things throughout the years, and having that first edition signed is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, what's funny is I try not to get ahead of myself at times because I've already got ideas for a edition two for this, but I have to put that on hold because talking about books, I don't know. Seems like there's rumor that you and I are teaming up to write a book for somebody we kind of know pretty well, aren't we? What's going on with
Yeah.
that? Yeah, what's
Well,
that deal? What's that deal all about?
You're doing it right now, Randy, and that is trade shows. When
Yep.
people go out there and they do trade shows, there's a lot of good things that happen, but unfortunately, there's a lot of bad things that happen. And what we're going to do is for the closers 7, and that's tentative. Probably will be 7, but it could be 8, could be 6. It could be 10. You never know. We are going to
It
be
could be
doing
we sneak in front of somebody we know quite well and sneak ahead of her too if you don't hurry up.
That's right. That's right. But the great friend and friend of the show and just a family member of ours, Ben Gay the Third, has graced us with the chance to work with him. Randy and I will be doing a trade show, kind of soup to nuts. Everything that we have found. I do. Trade shows with one of my sponsors, Mighty Line, and of course Randy's all over the country, doing stuff. So we've seen some things and we've done some things, and we're going to try to impart our knowledge to everybody.
Yep, yep. Yeah, it's gonna be fun working with that together, brother. That's gonna be a good time.
It
So,
is going to be a great time.
yes, exactly.
Not to
But
mention, when we get done with that, we're going to be working on a building wins book. So
well,
it's just going to be all sorts of writing.
that's it. We're gonna be writing for the rest of our lives. I like it.
God willing, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that might be 2 days because I'm old, but whatever it is, I'm gonna go out writing.
That's
you
great.
know. But no, I appreciate you talking about the book and bringing it up. But and you talk about trade shows. Uh, I don't write a lot about book or about trade shows in the asphalt and algorithms, but a little bit I touch on. But we're really going to dive deep into that because they are, as Ben Gay says, they are a gold mine if you use them. And way too many people literally show up the day of and go, I guess we're here now. What do we do? And I gave a talk this morning on a different subject. What I brought that up from the standpoint, just as a reference, is you maybe you want to save the money you even spent, right? I mean, being serious, if you're just going to treat it like that, because it is an opportunity to network, to be in front of people, and to gain a lot of advantage for yourself in your business and in your knowledge. But if you don't use it, it's just another party for 3 days, and you spend a lot of money, right? That's all it is if you don't make use of it. And I know you with Mighty Line, I see your videos and posts from the shows, and you guys just do it right at those too. So I'm excited about us joining up with your background, my background, totally different industries, which I think that makes it even better, right? And so yeah, I'm excited about that. So that'll be fun. So keep an eye out for that, and yeah, that's good stuff, man.
Well, it's funny too, Randy, because one of the things that we do, with Mighty Line is we go through and we point out in the other podcast that I do, Warehouse Safety Tips, we give very high level versions of stuff that have to do with safety to keep it very top of mind. And I look at this book that we're doing together with Ben as exactly the same thing. It's going to be the tips and the tricks that tell you things like, as an example, you talk about people coming to a convention. If you were to sit at your booth and keep your head down, and every single person that walked by, you didn't acknowledge, you didn't give a nod, a bro hug, sign a book or whatever the case may be. What they would do is they would leave and they'd be like, Randy just isn't Randy anymore. He doesn't do what he used to do. And it might literally be the one thing that keeps them from going to your competition, which in your case, you have none. But
there's always some, but yes. But,
well, what
nice of you to say, but
when you are at a trade show, the thing that you need to remember is you're representing that business, and it could literally be a first impression. So if you blow it at that trade show, you might literally blow what could be a $1 million deal.
Exactly.
So it's
exactly.
so utterly important that to go through and be the best that you can be at these shows, because the people that sit with their head down, drinking coffee and their face in a phone, they aren't making deals. They just aren't.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Well put. Well put. And there's so many things you can do. And one of the things I know, I'm part of what I've been working on and writing, getting started on our book together, is a little bit of what I'm doing right now. We're sitting here, and people can't really see it, but I've got people walking by. There's another booth right beside me where they're over here selling stuff. Every once in a while I see somebody that waves at you. I mean, we're doing this on the show floor, and coming up, kind of a fun thing, as most everybody would know or may know, that I'm blessed to serve the industry on the National Franklin's Association board, plus a couple other local chapter boards. And we're going to do a fun thing at the conference and expo in Oklahoma City. I'm going to have a lot to do. I'm doing a lot of it myself, and there may be some others, but we're going to do man on the street interviews as an association. So if you can't be there, if you are there, then we can help promote the fact that, hey, I was at the show, right? But also we can bring the show to people that weren't there, maybe a little flavor of the show, right? So there's all those things you can do when you go to a show. If you're an attendee, take a video with some of your favorite vendors that you met. Show a product that you've seen, because you know what that does with all your followers. If you're a builder or a roofer, it shows you're engaged in the industry, right? It shows you're out learning and practicing your craft, and all that does is sends a message that you don't have to say, hey, I'm pretty good. You don't even have to tell that customer or potential customer that's watching your YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or whatever. The sheer fact that they see you interviewing and networking with fellow contractors, exhibitors, they're going, oh man, this dude's kind of on his A game. This is who I want to deal with. And it's all done without having to self-promote yourself as far as, hey, look at me, I build the best building in America, because everybody expects you to say that, right? So I think if those are just little things that we'll talk about, right? And you and I do this all the time, and it's not that hard to network and be visible. I wrote a chapter in my book titled "Visibility Equals Opportunity," and man, it does. It's available to you. 90% of it's free with just a little time. Don't take long to jump on. I mean, I've had a busy day here at the show, busy rest of the day and evening. How long does it take me to jump on for 30 minutes and talk to my brother Wes, right? It's 30 minutes. If you can't find 30 minutes to do something that brings you exposure and helps you build the credibility of what you do, then you've probably got a time problem you need to work on, right? A little time management problem. So there's always time to do that stuff. So yeah, you're so spot on, man. You guys, like I said, you guys do it so well at your shows. I enjoy watching them. Kind of a student of the game like you are, right? We like to watch what other people do and how it works. And matter of fact, I'm booth right next to us is an old friend of ours from the industry, been on the podcast, Shannon Latham, with the Steel Kings podcast and the we're live. What's the name of your other shed? The Shed podcast. The Shed Geek right here. Hey, here we've We can have the. He can say hi.
Hello,
Hey,
everyone.
it's the
How are
Shed
you?
Geek.
There it is.
We've been on the show with Randy.
Yeah, you've been on.
Yeah.
He's been on. Yeah, we're doing.
Love it. Love your book.
Well, thank you. I love it. I love that you love my book.
I need to get an autograph.
You'll get an autograph copy.
So that
Yeah. See, that's what I do. That's what you do at shows. You talk to people live. So, and here's a fellow right next to us that gets it. He's a friend of us. He's been on the show, and he's set up, and he's doing podcasts from here. I'm going to try to weasel my way in with a candy bar. We'll see. But but that's literally how it's done, my friends, right? So,
Well, and you know what else too, Randy? When you're walking around a convention, whether it's a small one or a huge one, there's always these QR codes and changing banners, digital banners, and all these different things that will promote different parts of the show and whatnot. But the thing that people need to realize is there is a very, very, very small section of your people that want your business at that show, and they're only going to see that stuff if they walk by it, and they're only going to see that stuff for the duration of the show. When you do a live like what you're doing right now, I Buy From Randy is up in the corner that people can click. It's something that is going to be available to not only the people that were at your show, but it's also going to be available to everyone that wasn't. And at the same time, it's going to be up in perpetuity, for people to see in the future. So if they happen upon this during the show, fantastic, which they won't because you'll be gone by Friday. But if you were still there during the show, they would be able to see it, but they'll be able to see it, after the show. And if they find this a year from now, they'll still be able to look and see what you're doing. So if you're not taking advantage of podcasts and social media and everything, the one thing that you need to realize is that to have those QR codes and those advertisements playing on those billboards, that may cost you thousands of dollars to be featured at the show. When you're at the show and you're doing what you're doing right now, guess how much it costs, Randy?
yeah,
Zero.
the big
Zero.
Yep, exactly.
You get to use other people's broadcast to go out and promote yourself, and at the end of the day, you cannot beat the value of that.
Well, you can't, and it's a beautiful thing about it. And
hey friends, it's Randy here, the owner of Source One Marketing, ibuyfromrandy.com, and I got to tell you, we are proud to sponsor the Building Wins Live podcast and vlogcast. We have 4+ decades in this beautiful industry of supplying materials, supplying services, supplying marketing assistance, and we just are proud to sponsor Building Wins Live and some great guests that we have every single week, many of them from our beloved industry and many of them from outside the industry that still bring some incredible content. So make sure to check us out at ibuyfromrandy.com and let us know what you think about this show. For now, thanks for checking this out. Let's get back to the show.
and you and I talk about all the time. We're talking to the choir, preaching to the choir with each other. But we're big believers in this, and I'm on a mission to try to change some minds. To be brutally honest, as I know you are, slowly, one at a time. I'm not saying I'm right about everything, but I think I'm a true believer that, and that's part of the reason for writing the book, Wes. As you know, the number one reason, and I told you this right from the start, and when I met with my marketing team, like Gail, my editor, and Richard and Victoria, that did such a great job of helping design and change my mind on the title, which is an interesting story in itself. But when I started this journey, I thought to myself, if I just print a copy and have it on my coffee table, I'll consider it a success because I wrote it for my dad, to be brutally honest. That was the original driving force, still is. I did a dedication to him in there, as you know. He was massive, important to me. He's been gone 30 years, but he's in my head every day. Of the stories that I tell early on in the book or things that I learned from him. That was a real driving force. But, like as kind of to your point a minute ago, when you're around for a while, like I've been, you start learning and picking up on things. And this industry has been great to me. I've been incredibly blessed to live in this building material world, the post frame, the metal roofing world. And if I can give back just a little bit, if somebody just every once in a while, every 10th guy that buys or gal that buys the book gets one paragraph that they go, man, I could use that. That's good. Then that's a success, right? And
Absolutely.
and that's that's the other biggest thing is, I think it's important to give back, to be involved with, to live in your industry, not just work in your industry. It can't be just I'm in my industry until 5 and then I'm out. Of course, we all take time for ourselves, right? But it's got to be part of your life. And if you're in it, then you got to live in it every day, and you got to give back. So you can't just be a taker, right? And because I found, and I know you agree, and we've talked before, we've had some great guests on, we've talked about this, is there's something magical about the fact that every little bit you give, you always get 10, 50, 100 times more back, right? And it may not be from that person, but it's just going to be from the cosmos, the karma. Yeah, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. You just get back. So just
Good
keep giving
juju.
without, yeah, just quit and give without expectation. You know, this juju, those are all bean, aren't they? A juju bean or something? I don't know. I don't like those things. I like chocolate. By the way, I'm going to admit openly here, I did good on the fasting today until about 30 minutes ago. And as I'm doing a loop around, seeing some people, I kind of started hitting the candy trail.
Not to mention, Gary always puts out one heck of a spread. Did he do that this
Oh, yeah,
year?
he does.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I'm standing in their booth, and he's got all this candy there. And I said, I'm going to petition you to not have candy and not allow candy at shows, because I eat single-handedly everybody's candy. I can't help myself. It's a weakness. So I'm going to have to go like on a fasting workout tour for 3 weeks to undo the 2 days here. But, yeah, well, it is what it is.
I want to point something else out too, Randy.
Yeah.
That is pretty awesome. You and I I put a post out yesterday for the warehouse safety tips, but I want to also recognize you. And that is, we've done well over, I'm sure, over 300 episodes at this point. If not, we've definitely done, I would say, probably around 250 plus for sure, without a doubt. And your book and the amount of podcasts that we put in are both in absolute rare air. When you write a book, you're in the top 1% of everyone in the world. And now you're in that echelon of authors. But the same thing is true of this podcast. Having hundreds of episodes is something that virtually nobody hits. Not to mention the fact that if you add the consistency, I would say you're probably, not even in the 1%. I bet you're in a half percentile of always delivering a episode every week, sometimes more than one a week. In the past, we've done several, but by delivering a book and by delivering a podcast that has gone on for over 4 years and has always been a weekly podcast, I'm here to tell you that you're in dual rare air situations that you should be extremely proud of.
Well, yeah, thank you. I am. Now I know why I was having trouble breathing. I thought I had allergies, but okay, that's the rare air. But and I'll say, and it's a great segue to something I wanted to say. Thank you for that. This whole podcast thing that we've been doing, which is a blast. I have no desire to ever quit. And having you, my brother, doing what you do, both directing and producing, co-hosting, hosting when I can, it is been a godsend, and I couldn't do it without you. And you're a top pro. And that leads me to something I wanted to say, which is, and it has to do with what I want to say about you and the podcast, but also about the book. Is it's talked about sometimes, Wes, but you don't want to be the smartest person in the room, right? You want to hire people better than you, and then listen to them. And that's what I've done with you. I knew early on that the technical stuff that you do, you're a magician. I was, if I was up with this right now, my book would be cockeyed down in the corner and almost knocking stuff over here. Somebody said I talk a lot with my hands, which I do. But the technical expertise you bring, the banter that we can have, and the bouncing things off each other, you're a true pro. And so I want to segue this into and then bring it back together. So when I decided to write this book, it didn't take me long to figure out that I needed to have professional help. I know the story I want to tell, and I've wrote for years for some magazines, so I've wrote articles, but I've never wrote a book before. And hiring an editor, Gail Kirshner, who edited my book, great lady. We've had her on the podcast. Great lady, kept my voice, but kept me straight. A few times, Randy, you gotta get back to work. Where's the stuff you owe me? A couple of times, to be brutally honest, I like chapters 1 through 8. What were you doing on number 9? You got to start over, dude. I don't even know what that means. So, but that's what you need, right?
Yeah.
And then but I wanted to go into this with Richard and Victoria. They're the ones that designed the book cover, helped me with some marketing things. They helped me get to the number one with some suggestions and ideas on marketing. And Victoria did the design of the book cover and the formatting. But the funny thing I'm trying to get to slowly, I guess, is that there was a time where we had this Zoom meeting with the team, and I was in my office, door shut, and they said, "So we know you're pretty sold on this, but we need to talk to you about your title." And Gail says, my editor, she said, "Now before you go crazy," she says, "I know you're married to that. You love the title." So the original title was going to be My Journey to Hybrid, right? Because I talk about the journey to hybrid. But I said, "I'll listen to you, but guys, I'm not changing my title. It's been my title. It's going to be my title. It's my book. It's my title." And Rich said, "Look, it is your book. It is your title. And at the end of the day, if you listen to us and you decide that's what you want, we'll do it for you because you're the CEO of your book, right? It's yours. We'll do what you want." They explained some things, and it doesn't really matter at this point for the discussion about what they didn't like about the title, why they thought Asphalt and Algorithms, they suggested it would be the title. And he says, "Just think about it for 2-3 days and then let me know." Like, I'll think about it, but I'm not changing. I go out, and it's funny, as I go out in the other room and work from home office, and she said, "How'd your meeting on the book go?" I said, "Terrible." She says, "What?" She said, "They hate my title." She goes, "Well, thank God somebody told you."
Oh, no.
She said, "I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't understand it. I don't like it." But it gets even funnier, Wes. She says, "Well, what did they suggest?" And I told him the Asphalt and Algorithms. He goes, "What? What in the world does that mean?" And I explained, old school, right? Asphalt, pound the road, new school. She goes, "Well, it's better than yours, but I'm not convinced, but that's up to you." So I thought about it. And the next day I called Rich back. He called me back. I sent him a text, and he goes, I said, "Okay, I think I'm good with the title you suggested." He goes, "You think you're good?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "Call me back. That's not good enough." He says, "You're going to have to talk about this on podcasts, at speaking events, at shows, wherever you are, thousands, tens of thousands of times over your life now. You got to love it. It's got to be your book, and you got to buy in." He said, "Not good enough." He said, "I'm hanging up." And he hung up on me. So, but my point of all this is that getting to what we're talking about with you and talking about with them is you need to hire people that are better than you, that know what they're doing, and then you got to listen to them, right? I know that at the end of the day, if you suggest this is something we should do on the show, I'm probably going to listen to you because you're a pro. But I also know that at the end of the day, I say, I got it, Wes, but no, I don't want to do that. You say, "Okay, well, then we'll do what you want, you dummy." They would have produced the book the way I wanted, right? But I was smart enough, and that's my point, is I listen to people that are better and know more than what I know about a subject. And I think that's an important lesson that I talk about as much as I can, because I think it's an important lesson. Way too many times, if we're leaders in some thing, whatever that thing is, we think we have to have all the answers. We think we always have to be right. We think we can't give in to somebody else saying, "Well, I don't think what you're doing is right." And I think sometimes, "Well, if you don't think it's right, tell me why." And you've done it many times with me. And I think that's a great story with them, is because, and Gail told me, she said, "I wasn't sure Rich was going to ask you," she says, "because I knew how bought in you were." But at the end of the day, I'm glad. So it's but anyways, I just thought that was a little tidbit that I think people need to listen to, is get better. Make sure you surround yourself with great people that are better than you, and then listen to them. Make the final decision if you need to, right? We always, if it's, like I said in my book, I still had the ability to say, "I don't like the title, I don't like the cover, we're going to do it my way," and they'd have done it my way, right? I mean, and I'm convinced, though, that now that I by far made the right decision. So anyways, appreciate you giving me some time to chat about that, because I think that's an important thing to think about. So, but Other than that, man, you back from a show a week or so ago. You was in Chicago, I think, weren't you?
Chicago at the McCormick Place. I got to
Yeah.
tell you, talk about a walk. Holy mackerel! That and
Oh man, yeah.
the Orlando Convention Center. I mean, with those two, you are walking and walking and walking. Holy
Oh
smokes!
yeah. The Orlando one especially. You get there and you get in the show door, the first door, and it's like still 17 miles before you get to the hall, right? It's like
Yeah, and if you're
it's
unfortunate enough to get to the back of the Orange County Convention Center and have to walk to the end, you're going to
yeah,
walk. You're going to get your miles in, and you know because you walk a lot. But it's
yeah.
holy smokes, especially if you're pulling a suitcase, which I did
Oh
on
yeah.
both times. So,
Oh man. And then due to some other stuff I got going on here in the show, I'm going to run pretty quickly. But this morning at the show here in Dayton, so I stayed at my favorite Hilton properties. So I stayed 4 or 5 blocks away. It was not a big deal. But I couldn't get an Uber. He couldn't find me. He said, I can't find you. I said, well, it seems like more of a your problem than my problem. I entered the address. It's your town. I'm standing in front of the Garden Inn. I don't know. Find me, will you? And he just couldn't seem to figure that out. So I just walked over, which I don't mind the walk. But I forgot that I've got like 50 books in a bag because here at 2 o'clock, I'm going to do a meet and greet book signing here at the show, which is going to be fun. And so I have all these books I'm bringing with me, which is heavy. And I'm thinking, I switched shoulders about 14 times in 4 blocks, wishing that I wouldn't have been so obstinate with the Uber guy and maybe tried to work out where I'm at. But I hit ornery mode with him, I guess. And you can't find me. I'm not going to tell you where I'm at. I don't know where I'm at. I'm on a street corner in front of a Garden Inn. I don't know. You come find me. But anyway, it's been a good show so far. A nice turnout. Great spot here in Dayton at the convention center. And as you know, having been to one of Gary's shows in Cincinnati at the Duke Energy Center, we did some lives from there. Gary puts on like a world class show. He does a great job,
he really
and
does.
it's a nice turnout. And yeah, I'm going to get off of here in a minute, and I'm going to go back to doing what I talk about in asphalt and algorithms, which is we're doing the algorithm part right now. I'm going back to asphalt, if you will, in a minute, which is I'm going to go grow, hug, and kiss a couple babies and do the old school relationship stuff, reminding myself. Here's a PSA for everybody because I just said go kiss babies like politicians. I found you should ask the mom first. Just throwing that out there. It
Well,
gets
the other
really
thing
odd.
is that when you're shaking hands and kissing babies, never mix that up.
Exactly. Yeah, there's certain guys that take this really odd offense to that. You know.
That's right.
Oh, but good stuff, man. I appreciate you jumping on today, and we get this one done. And I will do a shout out to anybody that's watching or listening or whatever you end up doing. We are looking for guests all the time too. If you got a story, it doesn't have to be just in the industry. I mean, we tend to be a little bit post frame metal roofing industry based, so that's what I do. But we've had some great people on, right? They have nothing to do with the industry. That's got a great story, you know. And so if you got a story about building wins, because that's one of our concepts with the name, right? Is it's an interesting name because I'm in the building materials world, so building makes some sense. But we're really all about all kinds of wins, right? It's all wins. You throw them on the virtual wind pile, and they all compound with each other. So if you got a good health and fitness win, a personal win story, a spiritual win story, we just want to talk wins, right?
Well, and even further than that, Randy, not to sound negative for just a second, but we're all up for losses too, because that's the stuff that teaches you. So
Exactly.
I mean, everything is done for a reason, and you have to be able to glean, what sort of lesson you gain from it, whether you won or lost. And we've
Right.
had stories on the show of people that have beat drug addiction. We've had people that have been best-selling authors. You're now included in that. We've had best-selling coaches. We've had the last person off the plane that Sully put in the river with Dave.
Yes.
We have had so many incredible people on this show that what we're looking for is your story about how you found a way to find the silver lining in whatever it is that you're doing. So
Exactly.
and that's all about building wins.
Yeah, it is, and the great point with that you just said, Wes, is that even when the loss, it's a win if you take something from it. And
Absolutely.
these people that we're talking about, the one with the alcohol and drug addiction issues, running a great business, helping a lot of people. So there's no loss there. There was a temporary bad situation that this guy was able to not only turn himself around and make a great life, but he's helping other people do it. And those are the exact kind of stories we want, right? I mean, it doesn't. So don't think that, like you said, it has to be this massive win. If you got a loss that you've overcome or worked in, and it can be any kind of win, any kind of loss you turn into win. We just want good stories about people, right?
Yeah,
And
I mean, there's an author out there named Jeff Olson who has a book called The Slight Edge, and he says that it doesn't seem to make a difference in the act of doing it being whatever it is that you're doing, but compounded by time makes all the difference in the world. So it's all about slight errors of judgment or slight disciplines. And if you can make it to where you have more slight disciplines than slight errors in judgment, you win the game. And so if you had those setbacks, that's cool. What'd you learn from it? You know, what are you doing to change it? And if you've done that, then that's the person we want to talk to.
Exactly, because hey, most things are incremental, and you got to play the long game, right? And the long game is a combination of track. Using a track analogy, but it's like being a sprinter and a marathoner all at the same time. There's times for the marathon, the long game, the trudge. Then every once in a while, there's going to be that sprint, and you got to know when to do both, and you got to be prepared to do both. And if you can do that, at the end of the day, you just got to get a few more wins than you do losses, right? And
that's absolutely true.
Because none of us is, whether we've had a lot of success, a little success, any successes we've had have come with some losses. There ain't none of us that haven't had losses. None of us that haven't screwed up, made mistakes, made the wrong turn somewhere and had to slap yourself side to head and beat your head against the wall for a while, and then you shake your head and you go, okay, I just have to fix this, I guess. Right?
Dust yourself off and move on, buddy.
That's it, buddy. Well, man, I'm gonna go troll the floor for a while. Go do. I gotta go do what I write about in this a little bit, and what we're writing about in our book with Ben Gay. I'm gonna go work the show floor. I'm gonna go live in the show floor. That's what I'm gonna go do now.
Good deal, brother. Well, have a absolutely dynamite day. Thank you for being on your own show, and thank you for writing Asphalt and Algorithms, and thank you for just being you, brother.
Well, likewise. Thanks for being my brother, my pal, and occasional food stealer, but a good bodyguard. And let's just keep doing what we do forever, man.
All right.
Love you, brother.
Absolutely, guys. Have a dynamite day.